Okay, I'm your host, Cool Al, and I'm here with my wonderful, lovely co-host Maria. And before we get this segment started, I want to tell you it's going to be about Madam C.J. Walker and the Netflix show that they're doing on her, and I want to review episode one as a lesson um, and a review. So, without any further ado, before I get into the, subject matter, I want to have a disclaimer here. Um, so politically, about 20 years ago, I was a different person, and people might be watching some of my documentaries or some of my reviews or lessons, and they might want to know what the subject matter I'm dealing with. Why do I have a white co-host, or why do I associate with white people? Um, I want to say it's none of your business. And two, that might sound real arrogant, but let me get into it. Just hear me out. So, there's things that I've done in this lifetime that have earned me stripes that will last a lifetime. So, if anybody who wants to question me, hopefully they've done some of the things that I've done in life. I got stripes, and if you don't know, you need to ask somebody. If you don't know, it's probably because you don't have a clue, and you probably should have a clue, but you don't for a reason. And I can't even tell you all the stripes that I earned. It wouldn't benefit me in the least to tell you what I've done to be able to make the decisions that I've made. But until you've walked in my shoes and earned the stripes that I've earned and done the things that I've done, not from how can I say, outsider's perspective, but from firsthand frontline experience, yeah, you most of y'all not on the level to question the choices that I have earned the right to make. But I don't want to toot my own horn. That's not what it's all about. Let's deal with Madam C.J. Walker. So, also, like, if you have a problem with me and my co-host and the decisions that I've made, like, I'm past that. This ain't the 90s. This is 2020. Like, if you're on the things that I were on 30 years ago, you need to grow up. You need to evolve. Anyway, uh, without any, and I'm very secure and firm in my position and who I am. So let's get that straight. And for anybody who meets me, who wants to talk to me about these things, we could talk about them on any level. I've done my homework. I've done the work. I put the work in. So, your 1990 view of the struggle for liberation, what I'm saying, I'm past that. And I hate to sound super arrogant. Maybe I am, but I'm working on it. But anyway, with no further ado, let's get into the subject. It's about Madam C.J. Walker. It's not about me and my personal choices. All right, so Madam C.J. Walker, my hat's off to the people from Netflix who put this together. I think, too often in the media, we concentrate on the entertainers and the athletes. And there's nothing wrong with them. I mean, I think that they have given hope to generations of our people because they see that when the playing field is level, they can excel. Jackie Robinson proved that. Jesse Owens, Jack Johnson, these people prove time and time again when the playing field is level and it's even, yes, we can excel. And even in sports, there's biases, but we've been able to overcome them a lot of times more so than we have in real life. And that's because in real life, there is no level playing field. There is no equality. I think that as a people, we're still striving for it. You know what I mean? As a country, as a nation, as a world, we're still striving, for this quote unquote equality. So it is so refreshing to see a show that highlights a business person, a black business person, who was selling hair care products, and if you know the history, like she went on to become a successful businesswoman, the first black female millionaire, probably the first female millionaire in this country. I'm not so sure about the first female, but definitely the first black female millionaire. So my hat goes off to her, and I hope that it inspires a new generation of young men and women who can go out and be black, proud, and successful in business. Some people might say, well, she was selling hair care products that, straighten black women's hair to make them appear more white. That's something that can be addressed in a whole nother lesson. For right now, I really just want to celebrate her business. What is it? Her business prowess, because she was fierce and she was a competitor, and she did the damn thing. And I think that it can be inspirational. Now, we may want to question ourselves, like, if we want to be successful in business, what is it that we want to sell to our people or to people? And will it benefit us? Will it promote and push our culture forward? These are things that you personally have to decide for yourself. You know what I mean? There are certain people who might go into the military because of all the advantages and the things that it affords you to be able to do as a veteran when you come out. Supposedly, it affords you to greater freedom, more access. In some cases, that didn't necessarily pan out. In others, it did. It's not like me personally. I could never be a veteran. I just couldn't be a veteran. Have no desire. I'm a veteran in a whole nother paradigm. But like I said, I'm not here to talk about me. But I couldn't be a veteran in Uncle Sam's army. I think that a lot of U.S. policies has been the antithesis of my African being, culture. So yeah, that's not my bag. But it's up to the individual to decide what works for them and their family. I have friends and family who have served this country. You know what I'm saying? And some of them are my best friends. Some of them are my family members that I love dearly. I even have family members that, work on the police force. I also could never be a cop. I have no desire to, would never be one, but other people, they have some personal situations and they feel that it'll afford them, some luxuries and advantages that they wouldn't have in any other. So, more power to them and what they do, just stay out of my business, stay away from me. Yeah, because I don't business with that. But that's your personal choice. It's nothing I can do or subscribe to. Anyway, I'm digressing way too far. Back to Madam C.J. Walker and the choices that she made. Yeah, I'm all about the perpetuation of the culture. Madam C.J. Walker, she was a business person and she was out to make that money. And in that day and time, like there's been a debate throughout history, like what will be best for our people. Some people think you can get further by being a nationalist and separating. Some people think that get involved in the political system and, work with, other cultures and other people. And, they have a Martin Luther King philosophy that will bring us together and it'll help us reach equality faster. Some people think that if you separate and you show how independent you are, like other nations will respect your power and your independence and your freedom, and they will do trade with you. They feel like when you assimilate or integrate, like your culture will die off, and you will still be controlled by the powers that be. I'm aware of both arguments. I see the good in both of them. I think it's up to an individual to decide what route they want to take. So obviously, Madam C.J. Walker, wanted to play the game. She wanted to live the American dream, and achieve it through capitalist means. I don't see anything wrong with that as long as you make money and invest it back into the community and you help the people and you promote your culture. Mm-hmm. Did she do that? This is something that I will further look into and study more wholeheartedly. But I am glad to know that she was successful in business. Mm-hmm. And I think that future generations can learn a lot and be inspired to go out there and be captains of industry if capitalism is your thing. Go out there, become a captain of industry, write your own checks, like Jay-Z and Russell Simmons and a host of others. And, in watching the show, I was thinking, like, are there any times in the media where they highlight Black men who are successful in business? Mm-hmm. Like, we'll see movies about successful athletes, successful entertainers,
right?
People who work in sports industry as promoters and managers, who is like Don King. They're celebrated. The Russell Simmons who manages rap acts and is a CEO of a major label or was a CEO. We celebrate those people, but like, is there anybody that had a legitimate business that was African American that we've highlighted in film? I can't think of anyone. No Black men, but thankfully we've done a Black woman. Hopefully, the creators and the founders of Ebony and Jet, those men, that man or those men need to be highlighted. We need shows talking about and portraying their successes, but we don't have that. There's like a void. But I think that it will be addressed, and I think that Madam C.J. Walker, will kick down the doors. Now that we see that this is something that can be inspirational, like somebody will maybe make a movie about the people who founded Ebony and Jet, because Ebony and Jet is still on the newsstands and magazine racks, so check those things out. So in watching the show, is there anything that struck you or that you found particularly interesting?
Well, I want to comment on something you said about her product and whether her product is promoting sort of Black women to have more hair that's more white or something. And I'm not sure, I guess I would need to do more research also, but I mean, my impression of the product was that it was to make hair grow, not so much, emulate or simulate, white hair. But again, I don't know that much specifically about the product, but it seems like the women in the show didn't look to me like they were trying to look white or that they were trying to change their appearance too much. So that was just a comment I wanted to make, that I feel like, it's possible that her product was really not doing anything other than just making them feel more confident, because she said that when she was stressed out, she was like losing her hair and she had like patches, so maybe that the product is just simply, trying to make hair grow. So which is different to me than I think what I see now, where women might be wearing wigs or they might be doing extreme hair straightening, which I'm not sure, but maybe at the salon they were straightening their hair. It's hard to tell exactly. But anyway, so that's, I don't need to go on too much about that, but I feel like, so yeah, that part, I feel like it could be a product that could be promoting their culture and not saying that there needs to be a change in the culture. So, I mean, I like her. I like her attitude. I like the fact that she just doesn't seem to give up. I mean, a little bit she might doubt herself, but it seems like overall she had a very, fighting spirit with that. I like her innovation and how she decided to give something away at a discount or for free, just so people could see, whether they like it.
Test the product. Become hooked on it.
I mean, I think I even did that once when I was teaching some writing classes. I think I invited kids to do it for free. I said, just come and join the class. If you like it, you don't have to pay. And then if you want to continue, and I feel people appreciate that. And it shows confidence because it shows that you believe in your product, I think.
Right. If you don't believe in your product, nobody else will.
Yeah. So if you believe in your product enough to think that they're going to like it, they're going to come back, they're going to recommend their friends. So I think that was a really good strategy. And what was the other thought I had? Let's see. I lost my idea.
It's okay. But, yeah. If you don't mind, I'll
so
jump
go ahead.
if you want
yeah.
to.
Yeah.
That's what I do. All right. So I kind of have been trying to skate around this issue, but I think I do have to address it. And I don't think we're going to really get a chance to get into the meat of the first episode, but I will say this. So with the hair being straightened and the products that, this is something that is a debate that, we can do a whole show on that whole topic. I don't have enough time to do that now, but I will try to address it in a few minutes by saying this. So culturally, there are African hairstyles and African traditions that have nothing to do with American culture and American tradition. I think that when the slave ship dropped us off in America, there was the oppressor and his culture and his way of life that was rammed down our throats. And I think that there's a generation coming up, and it's like, I'm not doing anything white. I'm doing what my mother and grandmother did, but they don't understand the root of where it came from. And so I think that if you get back to the root, of our culture, of our history, it has nothing to do with straightening our hair, frying it, perming it. But I'm not knocking the women who do it. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're all affected in one way or another by colonialism, mentally and every other way. So that's just a fact. Now, I do believe that we should make every effort to reclaim our legacy, our history, and our culture, and we have to get back there if we want to perpetuate and move forward and upward. So that's where I stand on the subject matter, and I don't think I'm ever gonna change.
And I did remember one other thing I wanted to say when you're finished with your thought.
Go ahead.
I feel like besides selling a product, that she believes give women confidence, it felt like she was like almost like selling connection, like a connection to each other and to a story, because she told her story about how she was struggling and how she didn't feel confident and how this helped her just feel better. I mean, it's not even just a product in a way, but it's like helping other women connect their stories to each other, if that makes any sense. I think about women sitting around in a salon, like traditionally, maybe men sitting around in a barbershop, like people connect that way. Like they tell their stories and it's not just about, do you have a good product and do I look good? It's about the fellowship or the camaraderie, I don't know what you call it, the sisterhood of being together.
Mm-hmm.
So to me, that I got that out of the movie because there was that woman Addie, who is the woman who originally introduced her to a product to make her hair look better. But that woman seems to on the. Am I allowed to do spoilers? I don't know what I'm allowed to say about what
you're allowed to spoil.
Like just telling about this show. So she definitely is a woman is not very likable toward the end of the first episode because she just isn't a very nice person. She seems very self-absorbed. She seems to think that she's the most beautiful woman and that everybody wants to look like her. And I don't know, she just doesn't, I don't really think that she will connect very well with women because of her attitude. So I just feel like
there's a lot of interesting dynamics that are being presented with this show, like the clash between light skin and dark skin, the clash between natural and straight hair, and some of these things need to be exposed and need to be further worked on and improved upon, because some of that stuff still exists today. And, I feel that we as a people have to find a way to overcome it. You know what I mean? But, I don't want to sound like I'm coming down hard on anybody who decides to straighten their hair. Like, that's a personal choice that you make. So you decide, what's best for you. I always feel like I lean towards Black culture and the perpetuation thereof. I think that some of the things that I do and practice, could be, brought up. People can question, well, is that really what you're about? Being that you do X, Y, Z. And I would always contend, yes, because I know who I am. I have a son, and I named him an African name to perpetuate the culture. I support Black business wholeheartedly. So, like I said, you could question me all day, every day, but I know who I am. I know my roots and culture. I know my history, and I also try to perpetuate it. While most people are celebrating holidays, European holidays, I'm celebrating Kwanzaa. So I'm just a little bit different, and I'm proud to be. And I think that everybody should celebrate their own culture and their history. And the more you know about your own, the more it connects you to other people who may be different. But I think you got to start with self. And I have a strong foundation and root in self. And I suggest that everybody, if you don't have it, get that. And I'm glad that you brought up Addie, because yes, she's presented as a very unlikable character. At first, she was very helpful and concerned and caring and actually helped this lady get on her feet. But then when, Madam C.J. Walker presented herself as a competitor and a rival, she discouraged that. She didn't even want her selling hair care products because she had her own. Addie had her own, and she didn't want, because she felt like she didn't look good enough to promote her product. What the fuck is that? But anyway, it's plantation ghosts and trauma still haunting our minds. Something that we got to move well beyond in 2020. This is all the time I have allotted for this, and I'm sorry that I didn't get more in detail, but whatever it is we did discuss, I feel it needed to be said. And for whatever we didn't cover, go check out the series. This was episode 1 we're talking about, and we're going to continue to watch it and try to inform you. I promise we'll have more details about the show the next time. There's some ground rules that had to be thrown out and things that had to be explained. But yeah, stay tuned for episode 2 and watch